This right here is the Karma EQ, and I'll give you a closer look later on in this video. Real quick, I want to show you this magazine. And we got some Long Dogs ATP King 25 caliber slugs. So there's a JSB Hades, JSB Knockout 34 grain, and the ATP King, which are, I believe, 62 grain. They have a BC of 0.25, which is about 5 times more than that pellet right there. By the way, with the out-of-the-box tune, the Karma EQ shoots these JSB knockouts at over 900 feet per second with accuracy just as good as any pellet. So on the first day I set up at a very special, 35 yards away, nailed it. The Karma EQ's high-capacity magazine not only holds tons of rounds, it's also extremely wide. So you're going to be able to fit any kind of slug in here that they make. Indeed, my ATP Kings, which are a solid 3/4 inches long, fit in there just fine, and I had room to spare. So you can probably get a slug in this 25 caliber magazine that's about 1 inch long. If you want to use slugs though, you do need to lube them. So you just spray some ballistol on a rag, like a microfiber cloth doesn't have fuzzies, and then roll them around there and dump them back in your tin. That's what I did right here. So these are all lubed up, ready to rock and roll for my M24. So I'm going to tell you what I've already noticed about this magazine and using, or not using it, but looking at it for a couple days. This is polymer, okay? But then this whole inside, excuse me you guys, gosh those crows. This turns very smoothly, and this is all aluminum and that's all aluminum. So the middle part's aluminum, and then you just go like that, you lift this off. When you're shooting, you're going to have the clear cover facing you, so you want to put your pellets in head first, just like that. First thing you want to do though is give this a full spin all the way till it stops. You want to put a stake pellet right there, drop that sucker in there, then you fill in the rest of your pellets. And then I do need to load this from the left side, so it's going to slide in just like this, right over the barrel. And you got the clear cover facing the shooter. Just going to slide that sucker in there. Boom. Beautiful. Of course, I don't actually use magazines in my videos because you get a little better accuracy if you single shot load. By the way, you guys, this is a Vector Optics scope. They sell for about 600 bucks, and I like it because it's a second focal plane. So it has a nice thin crosshair. You may hear some puppy barks in the background, or even puppy growling. I apologize. They're not my puppies. If they were, I would be driving a new Jaguar. Oh, okay, because it was on fire. Ooh, smooth. A little pingy. Wow, 980 feet per second with those. And I did forget to put my restrictor port on max. Try one of those. That's weird. It went down when I moved my restrictor port. So put that back to where it was from the factory, which was right at the top. I wonder if they mislabeled that. Yeah, so I think they mislabeled that transfer port. All right, now you guys, it's possible that these will shoot good at this speed. This might be the max. Yeah, we're gonna have to slow it down. Oh, that was the same hole, so maybe not. Hold on. All right, rocking them at 970. These are the lightweight 25 calibers. Look at that, you guys. Obviously, I'm not sighted in perfectly, but at least I had something to aim at. And you guys, that's nothing. When I put the AEA ammo in here, it's going to be one hole groups. Same thing at 50 yards, but we'll get to all that. First, let me give you a close-up look at the Karma EQ. The Karma EQ is available meow and in stock at Pyramid Air. If you use the description or the pinned comment to find your way, I'll make 5%. Right off the bat, I'm just going to tell you it has an externally adjustable regulator, adjustable hammer spring tension, and a transfer port restrictor, just in case you have a very low standard deviation and you just need to shave a few FPS off your velocity. So these numbers, as far as foot-pounds and all that, this is for the out-of-the-box tune. And as you can see, we were shooting those 25 grains at 970 feet per second, and my hammer spring tension was at the lowest setting. And my regulator could definitely be turned up. If I don't mind getting less than 110 shots per fill, I can actually turn this 25 caliber way up. We have some amazing numbers here. The other thing I want to tell you though, is that this air rifle combines a fully solid barrel system with a 360 degree radial transfer port. And so because of the circular air pattern at the base of the ammo, it leaves the barrel with consistent accuracy. It says this has an enhanced 8-bolt barrel mounting system that provides extreme resistance to changes in performance from external shocks such as being dropped or bumped. You've also got cool stuff like a 20 MOA decline on your Picatinny scope rail, so that improves your accuracy at longer distance. They also have Picatinny rails at the front and on both sides for lasers, shooting weights, lights, and other stuff that's going to enhance your accuracy and functionality. It says the air rifle offers an AR-style ergonomic pistol grip, height adjustable cheek piece, and a rigid rubber butt pad. The butt pad is adjustable. It has a 1/2 by 20 UNF threaded muzzle, so you can add a moderator. Here's another cool feature that they don't list. If you loosen up the bolts, you can index the barrel, so that's huge. Also, this gun is regulated, and the regulator works great. I was getting duplicate shots. It's available in 22, 25, and 30 caliber. All the calibers have 24-inch barrels with an overall length of 33 inches. The 22 caliber magazine holds 28 rounds, 25 caliber holds 26 rounds, and the 30 caliber holds 22 rounds. Now check this out. The 22 caliber, putting out 75 foot-pounds at 908 feet per second, is going to give you 160 shots per fill. That's 160. The 25 caliber, going 904 feet per second, that's 78 foot-pounds, is going to give you 110 shots per fill. The 30 caliber is going to be a beast. It's putting out 102 foot-pounds, but getting that velocity going just under 900 feet per second, you're going to get 50 shots per fill. The barrel twist rate on the 22 and 25 caliber is your standard 1 in 17.7 twist rate, and the 30 caliber has a 1 in 16 twist rate. You also have a manometer that shows the regulator pressure as well as the cylinder pressure. This has a 70 cc plenum, which is basically a waiting room for the air, and the fill pressure is 310 bar or 4,500 psi. All right, now we got the next size up. These are going to be the 26.54 grain Hades. With this tune, out of the box tune right here, I'm guessing everything's going to be over 900 feet per second, which is all we need. So let's see if I can get a little closer to sight it in here. Looks like our regulator's working well. All right, Hades official group, here we go. Exactly what I was talking about, you guys. We do one more. I don't like aiming through the hole because I'm afraid it's going to screw me up, but here we go. We're going to do 2 more. Bam. I almost loaded another one because that was super fun. One hole in it is always fun. But now we're going to go to the very special heavies. 15 shots down from a full tank. These are the MK2s. Let's go ahead and do a group on these guys. I like the sound of that too. I hit some steel behind there. I may have screwed that last one up, but that was phenomenal, you guys. I think we're looking great. I'm going to refill and we'll try this one more time. All right, we're still at 35 yards. Let's test these slugs real fast. Okay, now we're going to try these little cuties, which are the JSB knockouts, and they appear to be all lubed up. They should be screaming pretty good because they're 25.39 grain. Alrighty, Roo. Look at that. Whoa, look at that grouping. Alright, so we had a fly. It's okay, let's do it one more time. Unlucky target, it's gonna get nailed with slugs. Here we go. Same hole. There you go, you guys. A gun that shoots slugs. And those were just random slugs I happen to have. Because you guys all know I'm not a slug shooter. Here is FX 25.4 grain. All right, I think we had a little bit better grouping with the JSB version. All right, these are the FX 34 grain. Let me start over, you guys, because I really screwed up that second shot. Look at that, you guys. That's as good as any. Well, let's just do the AEAs real fast. No, these guys already have the FX beat. Yeah, look at that, you guys. Well, that's pretty close, but I feel a lot more confident shooting these AEAs. AEA. You guys, I shot that whole group with both eyes open, totally relaxed. It's closer to shooting a rimfire than it would be to shooting a pellet gun, really. You can see with the out-of-the-box tune that the EQ is not pellet picky, although it does shoot these AEAs perfectly. So we'll shoot some groups with those at 50 yards. But first, let me explain a little bit about tuning in case you want to turn the power up. This right here is your restrictor port, and straight up and down is actually max. If you were to go either side right to left, it would reduce it. That's your hammer spring tension, and as you can see, the out-of-the-box tune, it's at 0. One thing that is important though is never adjust your hammer spring tension when the rifle is cocked. So make sure it's uncocked before you adjust your hammer spring tension. My cylinder pressure is at 4,500 psi, and it looks like this 25 caliber is regulated at about 2,100 psi. But if we look right under here, you can turn your regulator up when there's pressure in the gun. Turning your regulator down with pressure in the gun will damage it, but you can turn it 1/8 of a turn, take a few shots, turn it another 1/8 of a turn. That is allowed. The safest and I think the easiest way though is to just degas it, turn your regulator, almost all the way down, gas it back up, and then just dial up to where you want. So if I wanted to increase my velocity, let's say for those JSB knockouts, I would bump my reg up. Looks like I'm about 2150 right there. So let's say I bumped my reg up to, you don't want to go too much. So let's say I went from 2150 to a solid 2200 psi. First, I would see if I got a significant increase in velocity. Now, if my FPS went from, let's say it was 866 and it went up to 920, that's good. But let's just say I wanted to get those going 970. I would increase my regulator again, let's say another 50 bar. But this time, instead of gaining 50 FPS, I only gained 10 FPS with the same adjustment. That's the point when it's time to adjust your hammer spring tension. So what's happening at that point is there's so much air pushing against the valve that the hammer spring tension is not strong enough to open it the right amount to get the air out for the velocity that you want. So if I was now at, let's just say 2250, because I'd increased my reg twice, then I'll take my hammer spring tension and let's just say just go to the first notch right there. Then when my reg's at 2250 and my hammer spring tension is one notch up, you should get an increase in velocity. Now, if I want to keep going up, I would raise my hammer spring tension again, not my regulator, and you raise your hammer spring tension until that is no longer having effect. Let's say we went one notch, we got 30 FPS increase, and then we went one notch again, and we got 5 or 10 FPS. That's how we know it's time to raise the regulator pressure. Before I did raise the regulator pressure though, I'd want to back that hammer spring back to about where it was, or wherever it stops affecting the velocity. And that's how you do it. You just go back and forth, and that's how you tune like a pro. If I wanted to lower my regulator, you'd unscrew your tank, take a shot or two to get the air out of the body, then lower it quite a bit, if not all the way, air it back up, and then you can just dial up to where you want it to be. The other detail about tuning is that you have a good balance between your hammer spring and your regulator pressure when you have a low standard deviation or shot-to-shot consistency that's very close together. So I believe the most high-end rifles can get about 2, and if you're getting 4, you're doing very well. But I don't actually know how to calculate standard deviation. I would say if you're getting duplicate numbers occasionally, and most of your shots are within 2 or 3 FPS of each other, that's going to be a really good tune. I agree. Let's say you ended up about 30 or 40 FPS too high, but you were getting good shot-to-shot consistency. You could dial back your restrictor port to hit your target FPS, but in that case, you would probably want to retune and just use your restrictor port when you need to dial back like 5 FPS or, maybe 10. But if you were dialing back 40 FPS, technically you would be wasting air. If that doesn't matter to you, go for it. These right here are the AEA center punch pellets, and they're traveling at an average speed of 867 feet per second. All right, now we're set up there, quite a ways out. They're very special. 53 yards away. I'm going to skip the part where I sighted in. We'll just get right to the official groups. There we go. All right, 50 yards, AEA official. Holy crap, you guys, 50-yard group. First try, freaking smoked it. All right, so it's all downhill from here. I'm shooting very relaxed. I'm not worrying about anything. Oh, see? That was totally me. I do have to concentrate, you guys. You can't just do groups like that without concentrating, so here we go. The groups like that are when you leave nothing to chance. You do your breathing right, you do your follow through right, and you're not thinking about, French toast. 50 yards, you guys, repeatable accuracy. I do want to make a whole nother video with the Karma EQ that's dedicated to long range shooting and a good slug tune. So I'll probably get to that at the beginning of next month. Till then, these are in stock now. Like I said, if you use my link, I'll make 5%. Great way to support the channel. Till next week, happy shooting. We'll see you on the next one.